Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders who preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. In the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. In the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a sit-down lesson, another one that I want to bring out. And this was a recent news article as well, too. Say about 2 days ago. And this is from ABC News as of January 15th, 2023. 8:27 p.m. Eastern Time. And it reads, this was published by Lotala C. Baldor of Associated Press. It was published by them and from ABC News, and it reads, expanding U.S. training from Ukraine forces begin in Germany. Right, because I believe I read an article the Ukraine troops have arrived from Ukraine into the United States at a Navy base in Oklahoma City, I believe. And there's going to have U.S. troops training Ukraine soldiers, I believe. Now you have this right here, Ukraine forces, right? The U.S. training, expanding U.S. training from Ukraine forces begin in Germany as well too. And it says the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said the U.S. training's new expanding combat training of Ukraine forces has begun in Germany. It says Russia makes significant gains in eastern Ukraine territories. Ukraine official says over 80 strikes just been carried out by Ukraine in the span of 24 hours. It says the U.S. military's new expanding combat training of Ukraine forces began in Germany on Sunday with a goal of getting a battalion of about 500 troops back on the battlefield to fight Russians in the next 5 to 8 weeks, says General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Milley, who plans to visit the Gaframad training area on Monday to get a first-hand look at the program, said the troops began training left Ukraine a few days ago. It says in Germany a full set of weapons and equipment for them to use. Until now, the Pentagon has declined to say exactly when the training will start. The so-called combatant arms training is aimed to honing the skills of the Ukraine forces so they will be better prepared to launch an offense or counter any surge in Russian attacks. That will learn how to better move and coordinate their companies and battalions size unit in battle using combatants, artillery, armies, and ground forces. Speaking to two report traveling with him to Europe on Sunday, Milley said the complex training combatants with an array of new weapons, artillery, tanks, and other vehicles heading to Ukraine will be key to helping the country's forces take back territories that has been captured by Russia in nearly 11-month-old war. Listen, this support really important for Ukraine to be able to defend itself, military says, and we are hoping to be able to pull this together in short order. It says the goal, he said, this is for all the incoming weapons and equipment to be delivered to Ukraine so that the newly trained forces will be able to use it sometime before the spring rain shows up. That will be ideal. The new instruction comes at the Ukraine forces face fierce fighting in the eastern Donetsk province, where the Russian military has claimed it has control of the small salt mining town of Sardar. Ukraine asserts that its troops are still fighting, but if Moscow troops take control of Sardar, it will allow them to enter close to the biggest city of Bakhmut, where fighting has raged for months. Russia also launched a widespread barrage of missiles, including Kharkiv, the northeast of Kharkiv, and southeastern city of Dnipro, if I pronounced that right, where the death toll in one apartment rose to 30. Now I believe it's 45 now, including 5 children got hit in that earthquake. It says Miley said he wants to make sure training is on track and whether anything else is needed, and also ensure that it will line up well with the equipment deliveries. The program will include classroom instructions and field work that will begin with small squads, gradually ground to involve larger units. Slovakia. It will climate with a more complex combat exercise, bringing entire battalion and a headquarters units together. Until now, the U.S. focus has been on providing Ukraine forces with more immediate battlefield needs, particularly on how to use the wide arrays of Western weapons systems pouring into the country. The U.S. has already trained more than 1,000 Ukraine troops on how to use certain weapons with other equipment, including Huswell armed vehicles and high mobility artillery rocket system known as HIMARS. Other nations are also conducting trainings on the weapons they provided. In the announcement, the new program last month, Air Force's Brigadier General Pat Ryder, Pentagon Press Secretary, says the idea is to be able to give them advanced levels of collective training that enables them to conduct effective combined arms operation and maneuvers over the battlefield. On the battlefield, Slovakia. Mali said the U.S. was doing this type of training prior to the Russian invasion last February, but once the war began, the U.S. National Guard and Special Operations Forces that have been doing training inside Ukraine all left the country. This new effort is being done by U.S. Army's Europe, Africa 7 Army Training Commander will be continuing of what they have been doing prior to the invasion. Other European allies are also providing training. This is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 7. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must need be, but the end is not yet. Mark 13 and 8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9, in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. So yeah, we seeing these wars and rumors of wars, commotions of wars. Nations are rising up against one another. And as you see, the U.S. Military had expanded the military training for the Ukraine soldiers from the United States all the way into Germany as the Russia-Ukraine war continues to intensify, heat up more and more, and that's what we're constantly, consistently seeing. The nations are rising up even more now than ever. With the Russia-Ukraine situation, as the United States soldiers increasingly training Ukraine soldiers from Germany all the way into the United States. And I believe the training going to last about, according to the report, about 5 to 8 weeks, I believe. And there was no word on when they was going to start the training. But that shows you another increasing sign that war is still going on over there in Ukraine, between the Russians and the Ukrainians. And that's what you call it, wars and rumors of wars, commotions of wars and commotions of wars. And that's what we're hearing. And it's heating up between these different nations. And so with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying. That I just brought out this news article about expanding U.S. training for Ukraine forces began in Germany and the United States as well too. So wars and rumors of wars heating up. Nations are rising up against nations as well too. It's going to continue to heat up even more. And so with that, once again, I hopefully this lesson was edifying of this news article that I brought out, along with the scripture that I brought out as well too. And with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Akarkadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. In the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Akarkadash. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. In the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Akarkadash. And until next time, I will say shalom.